Morning and welcome to Daily Tanya. Today is Thursday. It is the 20th day of Iyar. Last night we counted 35 days of the Omer. Let's begin with Tzedakah, Gedela Tzedakah, Shemekareves Esageula. So today we're going to finish chapter 49 in Tanya, where the Alter Rebbe discusses the way how to express the love that we have to Hashem. What is God's love language? So we discussed yesterday about the blessings of the Shema, how the prayers, the blessings we say before we recite the Shema are meant to prepare us to develop the love to Hashem by meditating and contemplating the great, awesome, godly revelation, what God goes and does to allow us to connect to Him. And this is by way of saying in the Shema, we talk about the great level of the angels, how they are nullified to Hashem. And yet, when they seek to know where is Hashem, where is the place of the glory of Hashem, it is Meloi Kol Ha'aretz Kavod. It is right here, down here. Hashem came down and revealed Himself to us. And that's what we say also with the second blessing of Shema, Ahavasayla Ma'aftanu Hashem, that the great love that Hashem loved us. It is that despite the fact that we are in such a low level, that is specifically where Hashem squeezed Himself, so to speak, out of love for us to be with us through the Torah, through the mitzvahs. And this is something which is, when we think about it and you meditate about the greatness of Hashem, of what Hashem does for us, it is a natural thing. That is, we should reciprocate by loving Hashem and to be ready to squeeze ourselves for Hashem and to give everything up for the sake of Hashem. And now that we have this meditation, the question is, what is next? What do we do? What do we do with this feeling of love that we have to Hashem? What is Hashem's love language? How do we return love to Hashem? And says the Alter Rebbe that this is exactly what the pasuk says, what the verse says in the Shema. It should be on your heart, these words. You should speak the words. And he says that the learning of the Torah, understanding the Torah, this is like kissing Hashem. A kiss is something which unites the inner spirit of the two who kiss. It is the Chachma Bina Das, the Chabad, the intellect of Hashem, connecting with our intellect. We connect to Hashem's intellect. And with the mouth, we utter the words of Hashem. It is in order to bring out and reveal that deep connection. And it should also elevate with us everything, the entire world. And how? Because when we utter the words of the Torah, we need the energy. To use energy to be able to utter the words, it comes through eating and drinking and doing all kind of material things. So therefore, all of the things that are involved in allowing us to utter the words of Hashem are also elevated when we utter the words, when we study the Torah. Let's see inside what the Alter Rebbe says. Says the Alter Rebbe, "V'hine, kasha yosim ha'maskin, eila advorim el umka delibu meicha, azay mimeile kamayim aponim laponim." When the thinking person will reflect on these matters in the depth of his heart and brain, then as surely as water mirrors the image of a face, it will become kindled with love. His soul will become kindled with love to Hashem. Meaning that when we meditate about those things that we spoke before, but how what Hashem does reduces himself to connect to us. And so then what happens? His soul will spontaneously be kindled with love for God and will clothe itself in a spirit of benevolence. So willingly to lay down and resolutely to abandon all he possesses, for it will no longer be of major importance to him, in order only to cleave unto him, to connect to Hashem. And to be absorbed into his light with an attachment and longing and so forth. This is in a manner of kissing and with an attachment of spirit to spirit, as has been explained earlier. Just as kissing involves not only the cleaving of mouths, but also a communion of breaths, so too the spiritual unity involves the union of man's spirit with God's. Man's spirit becomes one with God. And the question is how? That's what Alter Rebbe says. But how does the attachment of spirit to spirit take place? Meaning, what measures are to be taken if one seeks to desire to only cleave to him, only cleave to Hashem? And the answer is right there in the verse of the Shema, Lazeh Omar. To this end, it is stated in the verse, so soon after the phrase that you should love Hashem with all your heart, and so on, it says, and these words shall be upon your heart, and you shall speak of them. As the Alter Rebbe goes on to explain, Kasuv Beitz Chaim, sheyichud aneshikin, yikoru yichud chochma bin das, v'chochma bin das, v'hu iyunat Torah. As explained in Eitz Chaim, Eitz Chaim is a Kabbalistic book from Rabbi Chaim Vital, says that the union of kissing, which incorporates the union of the attachment of spirit to spirit, is essentially the union of Chabad, the intellectual part, Chachma Bina Das, wisdom, understanding, and knowledge, with Chabad, the unions of men's Chachma Bina Das with God's. And that is concentration in the Torah. When you study Torah, not only study roughly, but you really go deep into the understanding of the Torah. And then when you utter with the mouth, this is the revelation of this. While the mouth, as the outlet of the breath, and its emergence into a revealed state, represents the category of speech engaged in the words of Torah. For by the words that proceeds from God's mouth does man live. So the question is, why do we need to utter the words? Why is it not enough, if we want to connect to Hashem, why is it not enough to understand, to meditate deeply in the words of Torah? Your mind, after all, is connected with God's mind by understanding the words of Torah. Why is it necessary to actually utter the words? Says the Alter Rebbe, however, one does not fulfill one's obligation by meditation and deliberation alone, unless one expresses the words with his lips. And what is this for? Because by uttering the words, you're actually using the energy of the vital soul, which is energized by eating and drinking from all types of creatures in this world. And therefore it elevates everything to Hashem. It says, in order to draw the infinite light of the blessed Ein Sof downward, even unto the vivifying soul, which dwells in the blood of man. Which in turn is produced by the intake of food from the mineral, vegetables, and animal worlds. And that is how you elevate the entire world. And one thereby elevates them all, the vivifying soul, and the mineral, vegetable, and animal world, to God. Together with the entire universe, and causes them to be absorbed in his blessed unity and light, which will illumine the world and its inhabitants in a revealed manner in the spirit of the verse that says, and the glory of God shall be revealed, so much so indeed that all flesh shall see it. In other words, as we mentioned many times in the past, whatever you eat here, you buy in the supermarket, a piece of food, but everything that's like connected with a network of the entire world, especially in today's day and age, as we get closer to Mashiach, the world becomes so smaller and interconnected, becomes like a world economy. So what you eat here, it can be farmers in China that are working, and the machinery that takes to feed them and to work, and it is connected with more and more pieces in the world, that ultimately when you do one godly thing, using the energy, everything that is involved is also being elevated. For this is the purpose of the progressive descent of all the worlds. As we said before, the descent of godly light into this world, that the glory of God may pervade this physical world, especially in a revealed manner, to change the darkness of klippus into the light of holiness. And the bitterness of the world, whose life force is from the klippus nega, into the sweetness of goodness and holiness, as has been explained above in chapter 36 at length. And this is the essence of the intent of man's service, to draw the infinite light of the blessed Ein Sof down below. However, in order to do this, you first need to elevate yourself and to bring up to bring up the Maim Nukvim. Maim Nukvim is the feminine waters, which means when you create the desire to be nullified to Hashem and to want to connect to Hashem with every essence, every part of your being, that in turn draws down Hashem's desire to connect to you and to become connected. However, the initiative must come through the elevation of Maim Nukvim, literally female waters, which in Kabbalistic terminology signifies the arousal and elevation of the female, meaning the recipient. Surrendering to him one's soul and one's all, as has been explained above. And with this, the Alter Rebbe concludes this part of explaining the level of connecting to Hashem through love, and specifically to this type of love that is a reciprocal love. And when we think and contemplate of what Hashem does for us, we want to do the same thing to Hashem, to put away our own selfish desires, to want to connect to Hashem. And this is done through preparing through the blessings of Shema, saying the Shema, and as the Shema instructs us, that through learning the Torah, meditating and contemplating and thinking the words of Torah, connecting spiritually to Hashem, and uttering the words of Torah, and of course doing the mitzvahs as well, elevates every part of this world. This is the end of today's shir. We'll see you, God willing, tomorrow.